Currently at Hasita Head Lighthouse. One of my favorite things about the spot is it's like a half a mile to the lighthouse right here, but you can go up above the lighthouse, keep going for a few more miles down to another beach. And over there you have the sea lion caves way off in the distance. It's kind of hard to see. So right now I'm hiking above the lighthouse. I'll show it in just a second. Okay, now here's a much better view of the lighthouse and where I was just at. It's mostly cloudy, but there's some sun coming through. It's a beautiful morning, pretty empty. And that's one thing I kind of love about the Oregon coast in January, February, March. It's pretty empty. Today's February 1st, Saturday, and I've only seen a couple people on the trail. Most of them are already going back to the cars. A lot of people that go to the spot over at the Hasita Head Lighthouse parking, they just go to the lighthouse and go back down. Right now the trail looks pretty dry because we've only had one day of rain in weeks. It's also a dog-friendly trail, but you gotta be careful because there are some cliffs the higher up you go, which can be pretty dangerous for your dog. People will also ask me sometimes if it snows at the Oregon coast, which is, it can, but it's very rare. Like for example, yesterday was 55 degrees and pretty warm. Today's, I don't know, 44 right now. Not too cold, not too warm. And if you haven't noticed, it's green. Everywhere around me is green. It hardly ever freezes over here in the Oregon coast, at least in the Central Coast. Look at all these trees. They're all kind of blowing inwards because it gets really rough out here pretty much all year, but definitely more so in the winter. It is rare for it to snow and freeze out here. Rain is very common, depending where you're at, of course, but where I'm at right now, I think it gets about 80 inches of rain a year. So it's technically like a temperate rainforest out here. This portion of the hike doesn't really seem to get a lot of light. If you look up, the branches are like that, and there's not much vegetation out here. This kind of reminds me of a spot in Kodiak, Alaska called Near Island. There are a lot of cool little side trails here, which would be very, not very safe for dogs or little kids, but there's some cool little spots you can kind of walk out and see the waves. Like this spot would be great for like a picnic, if I'm being honest. You hear nothing but the waves. And it starts to get green again up there, you'll see in a moment. Got some steps, and then you go through a very lush forest on your way down to Hobbit Beach. It's just one of my favorite spots. There's just a lot going on over here. One thing about this trail is it doesn't go up pretty fast, and so these are steeper than they actually look, but it doesn't last for too long. Oh, I can hear the wind picking up though, but I can also see the sun shining through, which is beautiful. It's according to my watch. The focus, 500 feet elevation gain, but that's Hobbit Beach down there. You can park on the side of the road and do like a half-mile, quarter-mile hike, or you can hike from here and it's like 3 miles almost. Over there we got Highway 101, and you got a really long beach, and the parking lot is pretty far from the beach, so it's usually pretty empty because you gotta hike down. A spot with a bench with a much better overlook. This is a nice view. Man, it is beautiful out here. I could be here for hours just watching the waves. In the summer, this spot doesn't get a lot of wind just because it's kind of in between the capes out there and the Hasita Head area over here. And so that beach gets kind of nice in the summer. But even in the wintertime, it's nice. It's February 1st right now, and it's beautiful. kind of get like a drone-ish viewpoint, but without having to have a drone. Also, if you're not much of a solo hiker and you want a safe hike to do, this is fairly safe. It's pretty busy, especially if you go in the spring, summer, and fall. Today is not busy because it's winter and it's 45 degrees or so. But on a sunny day, even in the winter, this place can be pretty packed. And there's 2 trailheads. It's just a nice spot on the coast, so you generally will see people walking. I've only seen like 3 couples walking, but on a nice day, you'll see a lot of people. Yeah, there's some really cool trees in here, though. They're all grown with ferns on them. Yeah, these trees are like have some kind of fern on them, which is pretty cool. These ferns look different than these ferns down here, but they still look like ferns. And it's surprisingly not very busy for a Saturday. I know it's February 1st, but the weather has been kind of nice lately. And last week 2 weeks ago, I tried to go to the lighthouse at like 11 a.m. and it was so busy. And so right now, I'm just gonna go back. I'm 1.52 miles in my hike. I did pause it and walk back and forth a couple times. And I did stop to chat with the volunteer, talking about the lighthouse and whatnot. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go back. It'll be about a 3-mile hike when I'm done. 530 feet elevation gain. Pretty easy, moderate hike with some great views. Definitely worth it. This trail has lots of steps. More steps right up there. I'm back at the lighthouse. There's a lot of people at the lighthouse now. But here is one of the coolest views of the lighthouse, or of any lighthouse in Oregon, if I'm being honest.